Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The use of speech for informal exchange of views or ideas or information, etc. Language, communication by word of mouth. He recorded the spoken language of the streets. Language, communication by word of mouth. A systematic means of communicating by the use of sounds or conventional symbols. He taught foreign languages. Language, communication by word of mouth. He uttered harsh language. A system of words used to name things in a particular discipline. The language of sociology. The mental faculty or power of vocal communication. Language sets Homo sapiens apart from all other animals. The cognitive processes involved in producing and understanding linguistic communication. He didn't have the language to express his feelings. The text of a popular song or musical comedy number. The song uses colloquial language. Language, communication by word of mouth. His speech was garbled. The mental faculty or power of vocal communication. The act of delivering a formal spoken communication to an audience. Words making up the dialogue of a play. The actor forgot his speech. A lengthy rebuke. Your characteristic style or manner of expressing yourself orally. Her speech was barren of southernisms. Something spoken. He could hear them uttering merry speeches. The exchange of spoken words. They were perfectly comfortable together without speech. Language, communication by word of mouth. Language, communication by word of mouth. Language, communication by word of mouth. A conversation that spreads personal information about other people. A conversation that spreads personal information about other people. Inconsequential conversation. They traded a few nothings as they parted. Conversational speech used to communicate sociability more than information. Conversational speech used to communicate sociability more than information. Talk socially without exchanging too much information. Songbirds having a chattering call. Birds having a chattering call. An informal conversation. Conversation in a situation where feelings can be expressed and criticized or supported. Talk idly or casually and in a friendly way. An informal conversation. Talk idly or casually and in a friendly way. An informal conversation. Overheard conversation, especially overheard cell phone conversation. Conversation during a meal. Exchange thoughts. Talk with. We often talk business. Use language. The baby talks already. An exchange of ideas via conversation. Let's have more work and less talk around here. Express in speech. She talks a lot of nonsense. Deliver a lecture or talk. She will talk at Rutgers next week. Reveal information. If you don't oblige me, I'll talk. A speech that is open to the public. Idle gossip or rumor. There has been talk about you lately. Divulge confidential information or secrets. Be careful, his secretary talks. Discussion. Talk about as a less formal alternative for discussion of. His poetry contains much talk about love and anger. The act of giving a talk to an audience. I attended an interesting talk on local history. An exchange of ideas via conversation. A conversation over the telephone. Involving two persons, intimately private. A tete-a-tete supper. Small sofa that seats two people. A private conversation between two people. The act of hitting vigorously. A gentle blow. The sound made by a gentle blow. A reproach for some lapse or misdeed. It was a bum rap. Make light, repeated taps on a surface. Genre of African American music of the 1980s and 1990s in which rhyming lyrics are chanted to a musical accompaniment. Several forms of rap have emerged. Strike sharply. Rap him on the knuckles. Perform rap music. Talk volubly. Voluble conversation. A conversation, especially a formal one. Formal conversation. The United States federal department that promotes and administers domestic and foreign trade, including management of the Census and the Patent Office, created in 1913. Transactions, sales and purchases, having the objective of supplying commodities, goods and services. Social exchange, especially of opinions, attitudes, etc. Talk socially without exchanging too much information. An informal conversation. Have a conference in order to talk something over. An informal conversation. Psychiatry. A plausible but imagined memory that fills in gaps in what is remembered. A lively or heated interchange of ideas and opinions. Fire from two or more points so that the lines of fire cross. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. The act of changing one thing for another thing. Adam was promised immortality in exchange for his disobedience. Give to, and receive from, one another. Put in the place of another. Switch seemingly equivalent items. Reciprocal transfer of equivalent sums of money, especially the currencies of different countries. Exchange a penalty for a less severe one. A workplace that serves as a telecommunications facility where lines from telephones can be connected together to permit communication. The act of putting one thing or person in the place of another. Sports. An unbroken sequence of several successive strokes. Change over, change around, as to a new order or sequence. A mutual expression of views, especially an unpleasant one. They had a bitter exchange. A workplace for buying and selling, open only to members. Chemical process in which one atom or ion or group changes places with another. Chess, gaining, or losing, a rook in return for a knight or bishop. Black lost the exchange. Chess, the capture by both players, usually on consecutive moves, of pieces of equal value. The endgame began after the exchange of queens. hand over one and receive another, approximately equivalent. Exchange prisoners. The act of giving something in return for something received. Deductible losses on sales or exchanges of property are allowable.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.